The truth is, times are changing. A new normal has arrived. The digital era. As we advance technologically, the world of checks, dollar bills, and fiat currency itself, it's on its last leg. Why silver? See, it's a key component for all these new tech gadgets, but there is a shortage. The dollar devaluing itself means higher gold and silver prices. Global pandemic? Well, silver is a safe haven metal people are turning to. These could be the last days of $20 silver, and looking forwards, things are going to get a lot worse before they can get any better. So, you have two options. Protect your wealth in precious metals or risk losing everything as our financial system collapses beneath itself. This is Silver Slayer, and welcome to my channel. As we get desensitized to this new world that's forming, the days of cheap silver is coming to an end. It's already undervalued itself. I mean, the gold to silver ratio is 71-1. Why is gold 71 times more valuable than silver when silver is used in basically everything that has to do with technology itself, and gold is used for coins, jewelry, necklaces, earrings, rings? Silver is used in literally everything that has to do with technology. It's the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity and electricity and light sensitivity. It's used in everything. So silver is essential moving forwards as we advance into this new digital era. Silver's scarce though, diminishing supply and a rapidly growing demand. So looking forwards, I can't see how silver is going, or this supply and demand, this supply and demand ratio is going to hold up or last. It's not. It's going to collapse. And when you know, or if you know investing, low supply, high demand shoots the price up. Now, I love this article, Buy Silver Now. It's straight to the point. So let's jump into it. 2020 was a challenging year most want to forget. The global pandemic, accelerated deficits, debts, stimulus programs, and massive money printing. Now, I've been making videos on this channel for like 4, 5, maybe years now. And we've been talking about this time coming for years. Now it's here. So what are we going to do about it? The thing is we got caught off guard. We knew this day was coming, but this pandemic just sped it up times 10, right? I would have, last year when we were talking about why you should invest in the silver, we were talking about the dollar devaluing itself. We were talking about all this, but we had no idea the unknown variable that was going to hit in 2020 was going to be a global pandemic, speeding up the process. So now we got caught off guard. We have to be on our A game. We have to be on our toes, and we have to adjust and adapt because everything is changing at a very rapid pace. So inflation could surprise many in 2021. Silver's up 44% since March and looks poised to head higher. Silver's fundamentals and price action say silver's in a strong bull market. It's time to buy silver as 2021 promises big gains. We got to get in before the curve, people. Most people buy silver or will buy silver when it's $50. Most people bought Bitcoin when it was $18,000. Nobody bought Bitcoin when it was $1,800 when I was telling people to. Nobody's buying silver when it was $11, $15, $20 when we're telling people to, because they want proof. People don't have faith. You got to understand why it's going to appreciate. Most people don't want to do that research. Most people just doubt. Oh, that's too good to be true. That's not going to happen. Bitcoin is $1,800. It's never going to reach $18,000. Silver, it was $11 in March. It's a bear market. Why would it reach 50? That's crazy. Throw on your tinfoil hats. Those are the ones always kicking themselves in the butt afterwards. We've experienced a once-in-a-century global pandemic infecting almost 80 million people. Lockdowns caused businesses to shutter, and soaring unemployment with massive economic consequences. If you dig a little deeper, the other costs, including soaring deficits worldwide, were approaching an unfathomable $280 trillion in global debt. Governments and central banks have facilitated tens of trillions in stimulus spending this year alone, and it's far from over. And the worst part is they have no choice. They know that this is going to essentially devalue the dollar, collapse the dollar. They know this, but what are they going to do? Just not give money out to people that need it? If any one of the candidates for the presidency wanted to win, they had to throw out that $1 trillion stimulus word, and no one would have voted for him. Think about it. They know that this is going to collapse the dollar. The dollar has lost 98% of its purchasing power and 44% in the last 20 years alone. Think about, and we've never thrown out $1 trillion stimulus. The last time we threw out stimulus was in 2008 during the credit crisis, and that was billions of dollars, which led to $50 silver 3 years later in 2011. So imagine what trillions of dollars of stimulus is going to do, especially during a global pandemic, right? A recession slash depression, one of the most controversial presidential elections, and a silver shortage. Think about it. If you want to talk about $50 silver, talk about $100 silver, because things are much more severe than back in 2008, which led silver to $50. So the U.S. is now passing its latest $900 billion stimulus bill, promising new stimulus checks, boosting unemployment, small business aid, and funds for schools and universities. It's little wonder why, or that some asset classes have been riding this wave, not the least of which is silver. And looking ahead, the metal appears primed for another great year in 2021. Debts, deficits, and stimulus boosting silver. 2020 was good to some investors. Stocks gained. The S&P 500 ahead of about 13%, with the NASDAQ up about 17%. Precious metals investors fared even better. Gold has gained around 23%, yet silver outshone all of these with outstanding 44%. But as I'll explain, I think gold's cheaper cousin is set for another year of outsized gains. Everyone asks me, why silver, not gold? Well, looking at the reality, right? I'm a realist, and I'm an investor, so I invest into the idea of something. I don't just buy it and hope it sticks. That's gambling. Looking forwards, silver makes more sense. Gold, or looking at the gold to silver ratio even, 71 to 1, highest 125 to 1 in March. It comes out of the ground roughly 8 to 1. The historical average, back in the day was 16 to 1. It wasn't until 1930 when FDR changed the gold to silver ratio from 16 to 1 to 75 to 1. So silver has been single-handedly devalued from FDR in the 30s. So the gold to silver ratio right now is man-made. It's artificial. It's not real. I know the ratio will correct. And anytime it's above 80, they say the ratio has proven, literally proven, to always correct back down. So right now, gold is 71 times more valuable. That means gold's overvalued. That means silver's undervalued. As an investor, wouldn't you want to invest in the thing that's undervalued while it's still below its normal price? Why would you invest into something that's overvalued? Where's the gains to be made in that? I believe we're entering a perfect storm for silver. The stars have aligned. Not only are central banks' balance sheets exploding, but major economies are passing stimulus bills that, just a few years ago, would have been near scandalous. What's more, they're doing so not just with relative ease, but outright encouragement. The Fed's balance sheet was $4.2 trillion at the start of the year. Today, it's $7.3 trillion and growing. This year, the U.S. federal deficit will be a triple of that in 2019. And the U.S. is already $27 trillion in debt as it is. So imagine how quick this is, like a fourth or fifth of the entire debt gathered from the U.S. throughout history. And now we're about to do that in a year or two alone. So almost no one seems to care until inflation, right? Out of sight, out of mind, throw it under the rug. People just want that paycheck, but at what cost, right? Everyone wants that $700 paycheck that, $700, that's nothing. Especially, I hope, as an investor, you guys understand $700 is not that much money. Now, to people that are out of work and stuff, I could see why, but at what cost? Get a small paycheck now, but I bet you the price to pay afterwards will not be as great. As vaccination rates climb and the visible effects of the pandemic subside, I expect our wild rates of money printing will start to take effect. Currencies, in particular the US dollar, are likely to weaken. So right when we're printing out all this money to try to make up for the stimulus, that's going to weaken the dollar. making gold and silver higher. There's a direct correlation. When the dollar's high or the dollar index is high, gold and silver is low, and vice versa. So now that we know the dollar index is going to be low, we can literally guarantee higher precious metals prices. And that's what gold and silver has been sensing, especially since massive stimulus programs and a Fed promise of near zero rates until at least 2023 appear. So not only is silver demonstrating its ability to hedge against expected inflation, it's also flexing its industrial metal muscle. 50% of silver is consumed in the industry, plus 10% goes into solar technologies. Factor in exploding investment demand, and the metal's outlook is robust. What's more, silver's technical picture is providing a terrific setup. I mean, the stars are aligning. The perfect storm is here. If you were watching this video and you were skeptical or doubtful or just outright, just against silver, and you can't see what we're talking about, or you can't get on board, or you don't agree with what's facts and what's statistics and what's real instead of assumption, instead of theory, then you shouldn't be investing. Because even if I wasn't investing into silver, maybe I was investing into Bitcoin or stocks, and I saw this video and I saw these numbers and I saw these charts, I would have to admit that silver is a very opportunistic investment. Right? There's potential here, and you can't ignore it. And if you're ignoring it, that means you're investing biasly, because that means you're trying to emotionally hold your investment true, so you don't get proven wrong. And that's the wrong reason to invest in the first place. For most of the last 20 years, this ratio has bounced around 50 and 70. And this is what I was talking about earlier about the gold to silver ratio. When the ratio runs above 80, it tends to run down to 50 or even lower. And that's what I was talking about. When it hits 80, it always goes downwards. Currently, the gold to silver ratio is near 73. It's been trending down. That's what it does during precious metals bull markets. I think it has further to fall even if the gold moves higher, which is likely. As a result, I expect silver's gains will easily outpace gold's in 2021. And what's more, the silver chart is confirming this bullish price action. The same patterns happened in 1970s to 1980. $50 silver, 2008, 2011, $50 silver, which, by the way, both times was extremely low silver prices and then an extremely high. Back in 2008, the lowest we saw through 2011 was $9 silver. Now in March, we saw $11 silver, which is setting up the same exact way recession/depression, billions or trillions in stimulus always leads to the same scenario, the same consequence, which is extremely high silver prices. And you need to get on board, because I promise you, you will be wishing you could go in a time capsule back to these days and buy an ounce of silver for $25. So let's get into a summary. So here's how I see it. Ignore the daily noise in silver price, and that's so true. Right? The day-to-day is going to be crazy. It's going to be unstable because the markets are unstable. People are mentally unstable. There's not going to be any type of stability until next year, after things start to settle down. And I don't think things are even going to settle down next year, but I think the euphoric recall of this year is going to make people start to ease. Now, once stimulus gets passed and all that, it's going to kick back up, and that's where silver is going to take off, I feel. But there will be a little bit of a calming down effect, probably around February, March of next year, and then things are going to get a lot worse. Now, that's my assumption. It's my opinion. Don't take it for fact, but that's how I think there is going to be a little bit of a grace period, and that, I think, is when we're going to see some normalcy before the big bang. Instead, we need to focus on the bigger trend. Silver has already more than doubled since March. It's in a bull market. Most of us are anxious to welcome 2021, and those who invest in silver and stocks are likely to find next year particularly rewarding. It's time to buy silver. I mean, it's as blatant as that. Blatantly obvious as that. If anyone is doubting silver, tell them to watch this video. I've gone over probably 10 different points, 10 different reasons that aren't theories, that aren't guessing. 10 different reasons why silver is extremely bullish with high potential, high opportunity. And I've even compared it to gold. Yes, gold and silver are the safest, smartest investments. Bitcoin is probably up there too, but if you can't hold it, you don't own it. Precious metal is definitely safer than Bitcoin. Bitcoin might be more profitable, but it's not as safe as precious metals. And in the long term, in the grand scheme of things, I think precious metals will be just as, if not more profitable than Bitcoin. There's differences in markets. Markets are used for different things. And why not diversify? If you see potential in Bitcoin, but you're debating between the two, invest into both. Or there's a coin that I'm investing into called GSX, stands for gold secured currency, that is a mix of the two. It's a cryptocurrency backed by physical gold, pays yearly derivatives, and you can even cash out your crypto for physical gold. I mean, there's ways. Times are changing. You've got to adjust and adapt with the times if you want to be a successful investor. That's also why you got to be subscribed, because I post daily videos. You need your daily dose of information. You cannot be blindly investing. There's so many things happening nowadays, and I will give you the most up-to-date information on a daily basis. So you'll get your daily dose of what you need to know. And I got y'all. Look when this article was written. This article was written December 22nd. Today is December 22nd. Everything I talk about is happening the same day. So you're always up to date. You got to be subscribed, not for my sake, for your own. This was Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.